Good evening and thanks for joining us on another episode of Engendered, a show where we discuss everything about the female gender. I am Victoria Agbi.
Welcome to the program this evening. My name is Pamela Ajaero. Now we'll bring you our topic for today and also the guest who's already seated in the studios here after the short break. Do stay with us.
Good to have you join us again. As Pamela said before we went on that break, it is a show where we talk about everything about the female gender. Today is going to be a beautiful day for us because we are perhaps adopting what is called inclusion. We tried our best, and we have our guest who is seated in the house here. I'm going to be introducing her immediately. I'm sure you all know her because, like I said, when I was checking online, I saw everything about her. She has been in the space talking about persons with disability, women inclusion, and the like. So she's no other person than, of course, Mrs. Lois Auta. She is the president of the Network of Women with Disability. Good evening, ma.
Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to have you.
You look so fine, even with the back.
I told her that perhaps I should call the makeup artist. She didn't even answer me.
She's confident and natural beauty, which is a very nice thing.
Indeed.
Yeah,
all right. Most times I do find it difficult. I get challenged as to how to refer to, of course, persons with disabilities because I do not want to offend them. I know some people might really get irritated, like fume up against you, like, what is it? So most times we get it very difficult to, and I know they say we should call them people with special needs. I don't get it. What is the appropriate way to refer to persons with disabilities?
Yeah, thank you so much, Abigail. For the right terminology, and according to United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities, they approved the name persons with disabilities because they want the world to see the person first before the disability, before the assistive device. Is it a wheelchair, hearing aid, guide cane, whatever device you use to help you move from point A to point B. See the person first, the abilities, the potentials, the talents, and the gifts restored on the life of the person. That's for United Nations. Then for British government, they prefer the name disabled people because they are realists. They say even if you have a different name, the reality on ground is that you have a disability. So you have to accept that, you have to agree with them. So they address their citizens with disabilities as disabled people.
All right, I needed us to create a background so that perhaps I'll know what I and Pamela will be saying here today, so as not to perhaps
offend anyone.
Offend anyone. But then I'll create a background for this discussion. I have something here which I'll be reading to you, viewers. Now it says nearly half the people in Nigeria are women, and about 20% of them live with disability. This is according to research by Nigerian advocacy group. Now, activists say many of those women face stigma and suffer injustice because of their condition, including gender-based violence. Women with disabilities face additional barriers to their socio-economic participation compared to men with and or without disabilities, as well as to women without disabilities, resulting in a significant employment gap and high exposure to gender-based violence. Now, laws around the world largely fail to protect the rights of women with disabilities to non-discrimination, respect for family life, labor market inclusion, and a life free from violence. Now, reading this, you are saying exactly. Do you tend to concur with the statistics or research?
Yes, I agree with the research.
Okay.
Because in Nigeria, we have over 25 million citizens with disabilities. In the world, according to research, it's 1.3 billion, not million. In Africa, we have 84 million citizens with disabilities in the entire African continent. So the statistics are real and they are true. But the question is, what are the plans that we have for this set of people? What is government doing? What is the private sector doing to ensure inclusivity? I'm proud of KAFTAN TV. I think this is my third time of coming here. KAFTAN TV has been very, very supportive. They always come to cover our event whenever we have an event. Even recently, the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, KAFTAN TV was there. So this is what we want to see. Let's begin to portray the positive side of persons with disabilities. Because we are people, we are humans, and we should be treated equally without any fear or favor. It is our right. They say disability rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. Young people rights are human rights. So why are we being excluded, discriminated, and underrepresented in many sectors of the economy? Is it health, education? Is it economic empowerment, employment opportunities, and many other sectors? Persons with disabilities are treated as second-class citizens. And for women with disabilities, we are treated as third-class citizens, having been triple jeopardized, first as a woman, secondly as a woman with disability, and lastly, the barriers. They are enormous. Is it infrastructural, attitudinal, medical, economical, and one of the major barriers is institutional. And that's where we have the legal frameworks, the policies and the laws. What is the policy saying? What are we doing about the policy? Let me stop here for now.
Before you dive deep into the policy, there are misconceptions out there about people with disability. I saw something like people with disability cannot get pregnant. There are so lots of them I saw online. So I want you to clarify, what are these misconceptions so that people out there will know, and how does it affect people? Because most times what you don't know, you just end up saying, and you don't know that it's affecting the individuals.
Yeah. Yes, and that's the attitudinal barrier we're talking about.
Okay.
Because of the perception. Some people thought persons with disabilities did something wrong.
Yeah.
That's why God punished them to become who they are today.
Okay.
Some people thought it's the sins of their parent. Well, some people thought they are witches and wizards. Oh, they are from the secret society world. They are not normal human beings. And that is why some people try to avoid persons with disabilities. Sometimes even in church, whenever we roll our wheelchair to the church and we find a place and sit down, the person next to us would get up and leave the space for us because they don't want their body to have contact with our own body. Yes, we experience this. So it is neither sin of the parent, it is neither from a secret society or any cult, it is neither the sin of the person with disability. No. Some people were affected by polio, just like me. I was affected by polio when I was 2 years old. I'm 43 years now. And I know what I faced, the challenges, the barriers, the problems that I faced, the difficulties to be here today. They are enormous. So what persons with disabilities want to see in the world is removal of the barriers.
Okay.
Give us the infrastructures that we need. Give us access. Give us inclusive education. Give us our rights. Give us what we need to thrive independently without depending on our parents, on our siblings, relatives, or loved ones. We should be able to wheel ourselves to our offices in the morning and come back in the evening like every other person. So the workplaces should be accessible. The media houses should be accessible. The mosques, the churches, and every other social places, parks and gardens, schools, hospitals, everywhere needs to be accessible according to Article 9 of United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disabilities. I have the right to have access to everything, information or communications or digital platforms, social media, whatever it is, we should have access like every other person.
Okay, I have a question in line with this, but however, I would like to remind us that since it's a women's program, so we're going to streamline it to women.
Okay.
Now, I saw an article in which you wrote. I'm going to pick a sentence or a paragraph from there.
Okay.
It says, women with disabilities need to be included in everything because women and girls with disabilities have a voice and they have rights. They have the talent and give to participate as citizens in any country. End of quote. Lois Auta, 2014, Fellowship at now. So why major on women on this?
Because we suffer more. The discrimination, the exclusion, the underrepresentation, the stigmatization. Women and girls with disabilities are triple hits. They are triple jeopardized, just like I said it earlier on. We go through triple jeopardy. The men go through double jeopardy, while the women go through triple jeopardy, being a woman with disability, and the barriers. And you know, our society is patriarchal. The culture and the traditions are saying women should stay here, don't go there. You don't have right to speak when men are there. All stuffs like that. No, we are in the 21st century. We need our voices to be heard and be amplified. We need gatekeepers as men, duty bearers that are supporting women and girls to become whoever they want to become. So culture should be removed, tradition should be removed, the barriers, the obstacles that are stopping us when we want to get to the airport, when we want to get to the boardroom, when we want to get to the peak of our career. We should be given the platform, we should be given the opportunity and the support to become the great leaders that we are. You know, women are the greatest managers in the world.
Sure.
And that's why we have women like Dora Akunyili, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Amina Mohammed, and the rest. When a girl child is supported, is sent to school, they do amazing work. Okay, my dad, may his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
When this sentence you just read, was during my Mandela Washington Fellowship in the US. I was sent to Arizona State University for 2 months by US government. And I was the first woman with disability from the North to receive such award. When I told my dad that I just received an email from the US ambassador to travel to the US for 2 months for a leadership training, the first words that came out from his mouth was, among all my male children, none of them took my name globally, but you did. That he's so proud of me that he will never forget this day, the day I told him this news, because I made him a proud father of a great daughter. That because of me, my name is taken, because of me, his name is taken to the world and back. And another thing was when my mother too was in her sick bed, I think after that encounter, few days after that, she passed on. May her soul rest in peace. Because everything I am today, God used my mom to make me the woman I am today. She said, Lois, even in this sick bed, if I die today, I know you're going to make me proud, even in death. So what else? Women have the capacity, they have the potential, they have everything it takes to become transformational leaders. I say transformational because when a woman is great today, she will bring in other girls, other women to also become great or even greater than her. So women are great support systems for themselves. It's my mother that made me who I am today, through the grace of God. When I got admission in school, it was a woman that supported me with scholarship. When I finished my BSc from the University of Abuja, it was a woman, HR manager, that said, Lois, I can see your intelligence and brilliance. Come and work with us. She took my hand and took me to where? NNPC. Yes, I started as a support staff in NNPC from one of the HR managers, Mariam Sani. I will never forget her. I have to mention her name because she did something awesome. And this is a Muslim woman, and I'm a Christian. So whenever people are bringing religion, ethnicity, and other factors, I always disagree with it. When your mind is inclusive, when your soul is inclusive, you can do exploits. You can remove all the barriers to support that person. So what we really need as women and girls with disabilities is believe in us, believe in our capacity, and give us the equal opportunities that we need to thrive.
Okay, as you were, so since you walked in, I've been feeling the joy you radiate. Yes, I can see the
Thank
whole
you.
smile, the happiness.
That's
How
because her
have you-
name is Lois.
Okay,
Yeah,
so okay, I like it. So I'm just wondering, like I'm so curious, how have you been able to maneuver the societal stereotypes, the stigmatization the disability brings? Like I know some people will want some society have tamed persons with disability that they have low self-esteem because of their disabilities
Yeah.
and all sorts of negativity. So how have you been able to maneuver this whole period of your life?
Yes, that's a very good question. And that took me to when I saw myself as a differently child from others. When I found out that I have a disability, I began to stay away from children in my compound, in my school, church, and anywhere I found myself. Until God used my mom and said, Lois, I need you to be a strong girl. I need you to believe in God. I need you to be grateful to God who created you this way. Be proud of yourself. She kept on talking to me. She kept on petting my back. She kept on encouraging me to be a strong girl that I am today. And today, I'm a graduate. I'm a Mandela Washington Fellow, the first woman with disability from Africa named a young global leader of the World Economic Forum. Today, I'm a global public speaker. I travel to different countries to speak on behalf of persons with disabilities, especially women and girls who experience a lot of exclusion and underrepresentation. Today, I'm the first woman with disability that ran for elective office twice in this country. Yes, I lost the vote, but I have won the process in different perspectives. Many young women and women with disabilities have entered politics because of that action I have taken. History was made, record was broken, and it has really opened doors, opened the way for women with disabilities to engage themselves in the life of politics actively. We need to participate. And you know, the world is gradually moving from inclusion to participation and from participation to representation. So Nigeria should not be left behind. Stop operating on charity model. Start operating on human right model where our rights are given to us. Right to participate in politics according to Article 29 of United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and Section 30 of Nigerian Disability Act. This gives us the platform, the opportunity to vote and to be voted for. So, what are we saying? In the US, we had one of the best presidents as a disabled person. In Nigeria, we can have a president who is in a wheelchair or who has visual impairment or hearing impairment, but he has the competency, the capacity, and the character, the 3 C's. Once you have the 3 C's, you will do exploit. So what I'm saying to everyone listening to me right now is believe in our capacity. Give us the platform to participate. And once we participate, we will represent everyone exceedingly well.
Okay, now talking about the National Disability Act and signing into law in 2018, do you think it has achieved so much, or there are gains since its establishment? Now, looking at the fact that recently we've been hearing more about inclusion from this government and even the previous government. I attended a forum where you also attended, and we saw lots of things that the government is doing just to include persons with disability, women, girls, and the likes. The other day we saw ATM being disbursed, and amounts of money sent out there, and the likes, leprosy, so much being done. So do you think the act has done so much, or I guess perhaps we are not where we should be?
Yes, we are gradually moving. We're gradually making progress and recording some milestones because where we were 10 years ago is not where we are right now. We have moved. We have made some progress and development from having a Nigerian Disability Act 2018 to the establishment of National Commission for Persons with Disabilities headed by Honorable James Lalu, a hearing impaired individual. And right now, we are on the implementation process. Yes, I'm not happy with the way the provisions are being implemented because we are slow. We are not really giving our members what they should be given. Yes, government is doing her best because a few weeks ago, empowerment program was launched this a starting point from where the previous administration stopped. Now, this administration has taken over. We are very proud of the president and his team for even appointing our friend Abba Issa on the 9th of November as senior special assistant to the president on disability matters. This is very good progress, and we're grateful to the president, and we're also calling on the president's wife, Her Excellency Senator Remi Tinubu, to also talk to her husband to appoint more women with disabilities in the administration. Because when you look at it, women and girls with disabilities are at a 0% level of participation. We need them to be engaged and appointed, and if possible, elected. So we should remove all the political barriers that are stopping women with disabilities from being elected into elective offices. We have great women in the disability community that can do and undo. Persons like Dr. Irene Patrick, Grace Jerry is there, Patience Ogolo is there, Rose Daniel, Susan Kelechi. We are many graduates with even more than 1 degree. We have more than, some have 2, 3 degrees with masters. And we are doing well in our various organizations. So these women are capable to lead. Give us the room, give us the platform, give us the opportunity. Listen to us. Listen to us. And I also want to use this opportunity to say we want to have a dialogue with this present administration. Let's have an interactive section where you hear the needs of persons with disabilities and you go back and implement it. So yes, we need empowerment programs to support members of the disability community. We also need to be educated. According to UK Envoy 2 weeks ago, they said only 12% of Nigerian children have access to education. It is sad. And according to Jonah Pitt research assessment, they said it's only 3 million persons with disabilities, that's adults, that have access to public schools. And our number is in millions, more than 20 million. So it is sad that this number of people have not been able to go to school. And that's why I always encourage family support. Parents of children with disabilities, send your children to school. Even if you take them to 5, 6 schools and they are rejected, keep doing it. Keep going to different schools. Or you can even do a homeschool for your child, just for that child to be educated. Tomorrow, it will become a different story, an inspiring story. And that child will become a breadwinner tomorrow for your own family and for her own family or for his own family. So we need to put all our hands together on the same table and say, yes, what can you do? What can we do to support this idea? And I want to leave all of us with a question. Are you a thinker? Are you a funder? Or are you an implementer? These 3 things, you must be one. Which one are you?
Okay, I did like to ask why you think women are actually yet not included in terms of leadership positions, despite the pedigree you've mentioned, and not like we don't have these women. We have them. They have this pedigree. They have the capacity. Okay, but yet they are not included. I'd like you to answer that question, but that will be after this break. So let's quickly go on a short break. When we return, Engender continues.
Thank you.
Please, girls, let's be fast with our chores. It's almost time for Engendered. I Girls, it's time for your favorite program, Engendered.
Yeah, Mommy, we're coming right away. Sophia, turn off the gas. What are your fears as a woman? And what are your doubts as a lady? You think you're alone with those thoughts? Then welcome to Engendered, where we bring you discuss, interviews, previews, experiences, opinions, and issues relating to the female gender. This is Engendered.
Thanks for staying with us. This is still Engendered, and it's coming to you live from Abuja studios here on KAFTAN television. And we've been discussing inclusion matters, the societal acceptability for women living with disability. And we've been doing this discussion with no other person but our famous guest, Mrs. Lois Auta, the President Network of Women with Disability.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah, thank you so much. You've been doing a great job since we started this program.
Thank
And before
you.
we went on that short break, Ms. Victoria has already asked a question concerning, how did you put
Yeah,
it?
you mentioned something about women who are capable, women who have the pedigree, yes, but yet they are not included. So what do you think is a challenge? Could it be based on these the structure you talked about? Is it patriarchy? Is it the issue we're even dealing as women who are not perhaps having one physical
Physically,
challenge or the other, or is it something different?
Yes, there are many factors. These factors could be attitudinal barrier.
Okay.
People tend to think that women are not good leaders, including women with disabilities. The entire women of Nigeria are asking for 35% affirmative action. And according to Disability Act, 5%. Well, even the 5%, we do not even have 0.0%. It's zero for women with disabilities. Most of the appointments, they are given to men with disabilities. And I know some of our members who are men with disabilities that were members of House of Assembly, some were chairmen, some were councillors, but none, I've never seen, maybe the data has not captured it. We don't have it. And we need to change that narrative. Is it ethnicity? Is it religion? Is it language barrier? Is it inadequate funding? Or what is it? Is it insecurity? Because since I ran for office, some of my colleagues in the disability community will come and ask me, Lois, how did you do it? Are you not afraid of insecurity in case violence sets in? How will you run? Are you not afraid of being killed? So women with disabilities are afraid of joining politics due to insecurity during elections or during the electoral process. So we need to remove those barriers. We need to tell them that, yes, there is insecurity, but you have to make up your mind. You have to be resilient. You have to be courageous. You have to be bold to say, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can run for this office until I win. You need to tell yourself. Forget about what is stopping you. Forget about the obstacles. Come out and run for office. Come out and join political parties. Come out and challenge the manifestos and constitutions of these political parties. Tell them you want to run for a party leadership, not as a woman leader, not as a woman with disability leader, but as secretary, organizing secretary, chairman, deputy chairman, or whatever position, but stop running for woman leader. Because as far as I'm concerned, woman leader is appointment. We want the real elections where men and women compete. So let's keep the barriers aside. Let's come out as one. Both women and women with disabilities should embrace themselves. They should support each other, mentor each other, take the hands of each other and say, come, we can do this together. Let's come out and run for offices. Let's set up funding streams for female candidates and aspirants, because you move from aspirant to candidate.
Sure.
In 2019, I was a candidate. I was on the ballot. In 2023, I was an aspirant because of the different ball games in politics. 2019, I ran in Abuja. 2023, I ran in Kaduna. I know the amazing thing. They told me that Abuja, I should not run in Abuja again because I come from Kaduna, that I'm taking their space. So I decided to go to my state in Kaduna in this 2022/2023 elections. And when I got there, because I married in 2019, they said, Lois, we married you out to Akwa Ibom. So you better find your roots.
To Akwa Ibom.
So you could see, yes, the issue of indigenship and citizenship set in. And that's why I always advocate for the gender, the 5 gender bills at the National Assembly. Senate President, Deputy Senate President, and all people involved, the 10th Assembly. We are appealing that you should listen to us. Because I know you have a mother, you have a daughter, you have a sister, auntie, cousin who is a woman. Give us this opportunity. Is it by quota system? Is it by any other means you feel is important and significant? Give it to us. Once we have this platform, we'll have more women in the room as decision makers, as policy makers, in the boardrooms and other careers that will create change and also improve Nigerian economy. So we need all voices to be together. We need to prioritize mentorship, funding streams, and another big thing is both the elites and women at the grassroots should set up a movement. Let's come together. We need the elites to bring money. We need the grassroots to tell 10 more women that we need to vote for a woman. Another 10 will engage 100. Another 100 will engage 1,000. 1,000 to 1 million. Let's do it. Let's have a movement that will change the narrative of Nigerian history for women in governance and leadership positions.
This your strategy is really amazing.
Yeah.
If everybody can actually team up, we'll go a long way in this inclusion.
Yes.
Okay, still talking about the Disability Act. As of today, on the news, we saw that the government has set up task force for disability law enforcement.
Yeah.
So I want you to take us through that. What is it all about?
Yes, the disability was signed into law in 2018. And from then to this time, there is a transition period from that time to 17th of January 2024. It will end.
Okay.
So that period was given for every key actor and stakeholder should take note of the provisions in the Act.
Okay.
and the transition period, and put structures in place. These structures could be ramps at the entry and exit point. Your restroom should have an accessible toilet for those in wheelchairs. Your doors should be wide enough to accommodate wheelchairs. We should also think of having sign language interpreters at strategic places. We should also have materials in Braille for those with visual impairment. The provisions has a lot of issues that was addressed on education, on health. You see a woman with hearing impairment goes to the hospital. She cannot communicate with the medical practitioner. There is a huge gap between patients with hearing impairment and doctors and nurses at the hospitals. Some hospitals too do not even have ramps to carry a woman with disability in a wheelchair. I know how many of our members who lost their pregnancy due to laxity of nurses and doctors. Please, let's go and look for this document. It's on Google. Look out for this document, check the provisions, and start doing things right. Start putting your structure in place, starting from the media houses, because I know the task force will use media to check on those that are disabled friendly and those that are not disabled friendly. And when you're doing employment, try and reserve this 5% that the Disability Act talks about in your organization. When you're having an event, participants with disabilities should be invited. Speakers with disabilities should be invited. The hall should be accessible to those in wheelchairs and those on crutches. People with albinism are there. People with Hansen diseases, they are also there. When you don't know how to get them, contact organizations of persons with disabilities, founders with disabilities, CEOs with disabilities. They know how to get them. And you see that we are doing things right. Whenever I travel to the US, I feel like not coming back. But another spirit will say, we need you in Nigeria, or you have to come back and create that change. In the US, I boarded taxi alone. I move around alone, even without an assistant. But in this country, you have to move around with someone. If not, you're moving with your wheelchair. One stone will stop you. You have to be, when you are stopped, how will you move? You cannot move except someone come and assist you to be able to maneuver and navigate your way around the place you are. So we need to start changing the narratives, and we need media in this journey. Thank you so much, KAFTAN TV, for taking the lead on inclusion issues. Contact your colleagues in the media and say we want to collaborate and start talking about accessibility. Accessibility is a huge and wide issue because we need access on education, access on health, access on infrastructures, access on information and communication, access on many issues. If there's no access to all these sectors that we have, we won't be able to do things according to how we want it to be. So we need everybody in this journey.
Indeed.
Sorry, before I cut you, because I want to do a follow-up. But do you think this disability law is visible?
Yes, it's visible. It's everywhere. It's on Google.
No, like, do you think practically it can be achieved?
Yes, it can be achieved. It can be achieved.
Okay.
Especially in Nigeria setting, you know.
We can most times we just get laws, and implementing it is always the problem in Nigeria. That's our issue. It's not like we don't have rules. We have rules and regulations.
MDS too, they need to start creating a budget line inserting a budget line for National Commission of Persons with Disabilities and organizations of persons with disabilities. We need money to do many things. For example, now this task force that they set up, every organization has to start looking for budget on how to put ramps, on how to engage a sign language interpreter, on how to do many things that the Disability Act provided. So we need such action to be taken to ensure inclusivity in everything.
Indeed. Let's now talk about acceptability in the society and, of course, education. Most times, especially for girl child, when the parents find out at a very young age that, oh, this child is disabled in one way or impaired in one way or the other, especially girl child, they seize them or stop them from education and limit the, perhaps, especially in the northern parts of the country, you don't see them in classrooms, and then in one way or the other they become illiterate. There's this lady I do see in so many occasions. She does the sign language. I'm not impaired, but I admire her a lot. Now, how should we tell advocates for families to accept people or their children who are impaired and still educate them, give them the basic things that is needed in life, as because they are also still normal people? How best should we go about this?
Yes, we first of all need to orientate the young girls in the family who have disability, because it takes time to accept that, yes, I have a disability. I told you my story. I liked being alone. I don't want people around me because I saw myself differently. Until family support, my mother, my dad, and my siblings said, Lois, you have to go to school. Whether you like it or not, you must go to school. Even when some people try to discourage my parent, they say, just focus on your children without disability. But they said, no, this is one of the brightest children we have, and we must support her. So parents, encourage your children with disabilities. Be kind to them, love them, prioritize them, and give them the necessary support that they need. Send them to school when it is time to go to school. Send them to the university when it is time to go to the university. Send them to places that they will meet people, where they will speak. Teach them and train them on public speaking, because people like inspiration. People like inspiration. Whenever they see Stevie Wonder singing or Cophams playing his piano and other keyboard, people are inspired. Whenever they see Grace Jerry singing, they are inspired. So we have role models in the disability community. If your child doesn't want to associate with persons with disabilities, begin to show them videos. Go to Google and show them videos of persons with disabilities who are doing well or who did well in their career. They'll begin to say, this person is like this, and look at her achievements. Then they will change their mindset of going to school. And when they are ready to go to school, send them to school. Even if you don't have the money, look for support elsewhere. There are some scholarships from NGOs, from donor agencies, and even government. Ministry of Education, they have a scholarship board. Look for help. Don't sit at home and say, I don't have money, I cannot send my child to school. Or you try to enroll them and the school tells you, we don't have the facility to take care of your child. Tell them you will provide the facility. Last week, I was at an event with Senator Benga Daniel, former governor of Ogun State. During his presentation, he said he has a child with disability. That when he enrolled the child, the school do not have an elevator, but they provided it. I was very impressed with that. The school do not have elevator by the time he enrolled his child with disability, but because of him, they got an elevator. That's encouraging. So parents should go out there, ask questions, and begin to support that girl child with disability. Make sure she goes to school. Treat her equally or even more than, prioritize her needs more than other children. Doing that will make her proud, will make her feel belonged in the family, in the community, in the society, because she got everything she needs whenever she needed it.
Okay, still talking on education, what is your take on having a different schools for the different abilities? Because I can remember when I was in school, we had a blind girl, and she was the only different person. And she was in one of the houses because she was a boarding school. So everybody has a turn in caring for her. So it was like a burden to the student. So once it's your turn to, like today is your turn to take her to the dining or something, everybody will be running away. So in my own opinion, I was not like, okay, is it not better she goes to where she has her so I don't know if I can use this word, her class of a kind of people where she can feel among and belong. What is your take on it?
For me, I'm a fan of mainstream school, inclusive school.
Okay.
Because right from day one, I attended mainstream school.
Okay.
And when you compare an adult that attended a mainstream school with another adult with disability that attended a special school, you will see the difference clearly. Those adults are still fighting inferiority complex, low self-esteem, because they grew up under one umbrella of seeing the same kind of people every day. So I encourage inclusive school than special school. Yes, special school is good. You mingle with people of your caliber, of your category, but be in the mainstream school where when it is time for science subject, you are there. When it is time for arts subject, you are there. When it is time for assembly, you are there. You're doing things equally like every other person. When it is time for games, you go out for games. Let's mingle with everyone. Just like in the university, you see students, men and women, sitting on the same table, doing things together. So children with disabilities or students with disabilities should be in any school, not minding their disability.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. On a lighter mood before we actually go, because our time is fast spent now. I have here that in the year 2011, you founded Cedar Seed Foundation, an organization that aims to advocate for and provide services to people with disabilities in Nigeria. So in 2 minutes, can you tell us what actually inspires you?
Yes. You know, I told you about Mariam Sani, who gave me the job in NNPC as a support staff. And she inspired me. After I started that job, I got a gift of a car from one of the managing directors then. So one day I was driving out and I saw a person with disability crawling by the roadside, and it was raining. So I stopped and I told him to hop into the car. And we started talking. He told me his story, and I was touched. I was touched to my bone marrow. I said, Lois, look at you. You have a comfortable accommodation with a nice car. You're doing well. What are you doing to support people like this? And that was when I quickly set up Cedar Seed Foundation. And being a support star with NNPC was my first donor of the project we kick-started. They funded 120 mobility aids because that guy could not move around independently without a mobility aid. So I was touched to buy a lot of wheelchairs, crutches, guide cane, hearing aid, and we distributed it to persons with disabilities, up to 120. That was our first project. And from then, we were part of the people that worked on Nigerian Disability Bill that led to the signing and the ascension by former president of this country. And we also gave out scholarship awards to 256 students. We have been advocating for disability inclusion in governance, especially women and girls with disabilities. So we have been doing a lot on education, health, and economic empowerment of persons with disabilities.
Indeed. Well,
Thank you, Abigail.
You've done well, ma.
And thank you, Pamela.
We are proud of you, ma.
Thank you so
I
much.
will still commend her. Like since she's been talking, I just look at her smile. She's like,
Pamela, we have to go.
She doesn't have any problem. Like, I really commend you for
Yes,
thank you.
Ma. Continue the great work, and let's have that inclusion.
Yes, that's the important thing that we need to do.
All right, we've been talking with our guest, Lois Auta. She is the President Network of Women with Disabilities. We'll be speaking about societal acceptability for women living with disabilities. It's been a wonderful session, and we have to go. There is no time again. We are out of time. And I have been Victoria Agbi.
I am Pamela Ajaero. Thanks for staying with us.
Bye.
Bye.